Hello. How's everybody doing? Thanks for being here. Welcome to the Wisconsin Community Media Midwest region of the Alliance for Community Media Annual Conference. My name is Timm. I am your WCM president. On behalf of the board and all of our members, I want to thank you all for being here. We're excited to have you with us. Before we go any further, I just want to say a big thank you to our executive director, Mary Cardona, our treasurer, Deb Brunette, who is also your conferences committee chair, and our friends from ACM for putting on this conference. So big round of applause for those folks. At this time, I will introduce our representatives from the city of Madison who have graciously hosted our conference here. First, Katie Crawley is deputy mayor. She's been the deputy mayor of the city of Madison for just over 11 years, has served through 2 administrations, has assisted on communications for the mayor's office, and in part, the city for the entire time. She is also the mayor's liaison to 10 different city agencies, including IT. She works with the IT media team as they are repeatedly called to cover the mayor's media events, at times with little more than a few hours' notice. This room collectively feels your pain on that. And as they record and share the mayor's regular press briefings as well. Prior to her work with the city, she was employed by U.S. Senator Russ Feingold for 18 years, a portion of that time as his in-state press secretary. And also with us today from the city of Madison, Sarah Edgerton, who is the Chief Information Officer and IT Director. Sarah brings more than 25 years of IT experience to her role with the city. She is committed to providing the highest quality service for Madison residents through the use of IT. Prior to IT Director, she was the city's web manager, a position she held for 10 years. And in her current role, she leads strategic planning, oversight, and management of citywide IT operations, including budget, digital engagement, digital inclusion, digital workplace, infrastructure, operations, and security. So please welcome our guest from the city of Madison.
Hello, I'm going to get nervous because I have voice right down in front of me, but it's happened before. I'm Katie Crawley. I work for the mayor, and I feel like I work for these folks, and I always let them down. But you guys know what I mean. So many people are dependent on you, and thank you again for what you do. That was supposed to be the end of my message, not the beginning, but I have no problem repeating it. First things first, Mayor Rhodes Conway is our mayor, Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway, and she sends her best and her greetings and her regrets, and so I am here on her behalf. This has been a heck of a last few years for all of you folks, and I'm assuming that's kind of a theme of your conference, all the changing technology that you have to face and you have to help with as we go through a pandemic and into a world that is totally different and will never be the same. We talk about frontline workers and we talk about public safety, but I also look at you guys, you folks, as frontline workers. You have so much responsibility to help keep our municipalities running smoothly, to help keep our public engaged and involved, to help keep our, at times, very demanding elected officials satisfied that they are able to get their message out and that they're able to hear from our constituents. And it's no easy task. I make my folks here feel uncomfortable because I call you guys my best friends on a regular basis. You know, here you are again, you're my best friends. Anyway, I really appreciate what you do. These folks have done press conferences and media briefings and trainings and meetings online, moving into hybrid, trying to figure out how this is all going to work and trying to keep us all up to speed and all satisfied that we are getting, the proper engagement, which is such a big word, and the transparency, which is another word we hear over and over again. Everybody's doing the best they can, and budgets are tight everywhere, and everybody is stressed to the limits, and you folks are working all night long in some cases. Welcome to Madison and council meetings here. So I'm assuming some of you folks get that around the state and around the Midwest as well. We all work in government. We're all public servants, although we're not technically servants, as it was pointed out to me by another one of my public information officers. But none of us get enough thanks, and you particularly don't get enough thanks because you're behind the scenes, you're making things work. But you are all so appreciated, and I can't stress that enough. But thank you so much for being here. Please enjoy Madison. Usually in the last several months I've said, whoa, sorry about the weather, but this is a different story about the weather, but it's sunny. So enjoy our city. There's so much to see and do here. And again, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hello, my name is Sarah Edgerton, and I am the IT director and the chief information officer for the city of Madison. And very proud that the part of my portfolio is to have the city's media team as part of my team. They've been an amazing group of people to work with, but to give you a little bit of background as to why they've been so amazing to work with, I actually started as a volunteer, I think in 1995, Boyce. Boyce actually worked there, yeah. And it was City Cable at the time, and I came in as a volunteer intern, and I got to do master control. As Boyce liked to call it, I was one of the monkeys. I got to change all the tapes. And from there, I moved up into programming coordinator and then programming supervisor, and then started dabbling in HTML in like 1998. And the web manager for the city at the time said, you know HTML? Guess what? You're coming over to my team and you're going to start our web team. And so then I just kind of progressed from there, and here I am. But always deep down, what I've always recognized is that media team is one of the things that is sort of the base, the infrastructure of our city in terms of transparency and in terms of the engagement and the participation that we are always looking for when we're talking about how do we engage our city residents. And so what I have is a lovely little slideshow talking about our city's digital transformation. I'm going to walk through it with you, of the media team, and I'm doing it from pre-pandemic, so 3 years, to where we are today. And I don't have my readers on, so excuse me if I grab the wrong slide. Okay, so pre-pandemic, the media team, and I know you can't really read this, but this is just sort of a snapshot of what they were doing. They did the main things where they covered meetings, they did other ad hoc coverages, press conferences, news conferences, as Katie was referencing, and then they ran the channel. And then they also did other services, which was public service announcements, training videos, all of the things that you always assume with government access. They did streaming media. We've actually been doing streaming media for over 21 years, so we've been doing it a very long time. Still photography, audiovisual services, sound reinforcement. Voice goes into different spaces and we'll say, yeah, this sound doesn't work, and we'll tell them what they need to do to fix it. And then also doing security camera placements. So as we build our city facilities, Boyce and his team will come in and make recommendations on where cameras can be placed so that they can get the best bang for their dollar. And then we have a whole digital signage program that we have started. So when you're out on the square and you see in the bus stops those big, huge digital displays, that's the digital media team. So the media team of today. So what happened was when COVID came, in March, the mayor came to me, or actually she called me and said, come on down, I need to talk to you. We need to have a common council meeting on March 31st, and it has to be virtual. And I think it was like March 15th. I said, okay, and I left, and 10 business days, yeah. And I turned around and walked directly down to the media team, and the first person I saw was the first person who got assigned it, which was Tanya Anderson. And I said, guess what? We have to go to virtual meetings in 10 days, figure out how to get Robert's rules and all of the other things that we have to do virtually. And they did it. From there, we set up a whole system, because Madison, we love our committees and our commissions and our boards. We have over 95 of them. And we love to really have long meetings. You know, our last really long meeting, I believe, was 9 hours, and that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So what happened was the whole role of the media team changed in that 10 days. They went from something that Katie describes as kind of quiet behind the back scenes, you know, they were there, everybody knew them, to really forefront, both in the city and in IT. So they've always been, one of my budget manager always said they were sort of the ones that were over there, right? So the media team were downstairs. We knew that they were part of our team. We recognized them, but they weren't part of that cross-agency collaboration that we do with our other teams. They became a major part of that cross-collaboration. They became the drivers of a lot of the different movement that we started doing in transforming to get ourselves to where we needed to be through the pandemic. And that was digital inclusion, digital workplace, employee engagement, and then, oddly enough, security. So I'm gonna just kind of dive into this and talk about it. So for digital inclusion, this is a snapshot of the city's website today. So what I've highlighted in yellow are all of the places that the Madison City Channel has touched it, the media team has touched it. So under city highlights is a virtual meeting that's going to be held. Well, it was the media team who set that up. In terms of getting that whole infrastructure in place and getting all of the processes and how they were going to do it, they set that up. News release, we have Alder that left, and we have a special common council executive committee meeting. Guess who's covering it? And then for today's meetings, all of that that's circled, media team set up that whole background. So on the main page of our city's site, all of the business that's the key important things, they did, and I think maybe they also did that photo, I'm not sure. So as you know, they are there. They are part of the footprint of our city. Digital workplaces. So this is the Common Council meeting I was talking about, the 9-hour one. This is one of our lovely city staff members, I believe at like 3 in the morning. Can you see how exhausted he is? But guess what? He's at home. And why is he at home? Because the media team set that up so that we can do our meetings and have that participation for our city staff so that they don't have to sit in our council chambers at 3 in the morning after they've spent a full day at work. They can actually go home and have a little bit of work-life balance. It's the media team doing that. They are doing the continual improvement of processes, tools, and operational efficiencies to meet our employees' needs and the city's goals. They do training videos all the time. Fire department loves the media team. And they do a ton of recruitment. They do videos. They do a lot of the videos for when the fire department is showing how you can become a firefighter, all of those different videos for that. That's the media team. Media team does this across the city. But the fire department, #1 love of media team. Frequent flyers, yes. Okay, and then the security. So this is sort of a new place for the media team. When I took over my position, there were a lot of operational efficiencies in IT that I didn't always understand. Like, why did a certain team have oversight over different software and hardware? And I think it was because when they were making assignments at the management level, the manager happened to make eye contact with the director, and so then they were assigned that. Because I remember being in those meetings and be like, no, look, because I didn't want whatever it was. And so surveillance cameras got put on a team that's the infrastructure and operations team. So they really don't know anything about cameras. They don't understand about streaming. They don't have that background. And no fault of their own. They really worked very hard to put this together. But they've been overseeing 1,400 cameras in the city of Madison, which is a lot of cameras. So Boyce very graciously agreed to have his team take over the camera management replacement program RFP so that we can get new software that's going to oversee and administer all of these cameras. And then they're going to be really the leaders and the drivers of making sure that the camera placements make sense, that we're using the right cameras, and that we're not using too many cameras. I actually had a conversation the other day with a department where I said, I understand you have 20-some cameras, but on those 20-some cameras, you have 4 views on each one of those cameras. Guess how many cameras you actually have? You have over 83 cameras. That is a heck of a lot of cameras to have in one agency. I don't think you need that. But they didn't understand that, and that wasn't explained as part of when we were doing this oversight with them. Having the media team come in as those subject matter experts and doing that is going to change how we have those conversations and will actually help the city save money, which is really key in our tight budget times. So moving forward, these are, and I haven't really talked to Boyce and the rest of the team about some of these, but guess what, Boyce? Moving forward, here are some of the things that I envision them doing. You better take a snapshot here, Boyce, because guess what? So anyway, so our audiovisual systems, so our AV, we actually, this is how amazing the media team is, just to give you an example. Last year we had a 5% operating cut, and we got a new position for the media team. I gotta tell you, that was like unheard of. And it was because of all the work that they have been doing to move us forward as a city in that transformation. So anyway, our city facilities, little behind on some of the AV systems, and so Boyce's team is going in and they're helping to design that out so that we have audio-visual conferencing. We can do, all of the different things that we would like to do with our trainings. We would like to do with just it when we are supporting our staff, because we have staff that are working from home, and then we have staff that are in the office. And when they want to do any kind of collaboration, now they're going to be able to do it because of the work that Boyce's team is helping to set up. They support our digital inclusion programs. That includes like language access programs, the different, I'm trying to think of other things with that. I'm not even going to worry about it. And then outdoor digital kiosks, that's something that we have talked about and really see that that would be something that we could do around the square and down State Street. There are so many ordinances that we are going to have to deal with on that one, but that's something that we're looking forward to working on. And then satellite city halls. This is a project that we're working on with the Madison Public Libraries. They have grants that they have, and the idea of having both satellite meeting rooms, but then also residents can come to libraries and they can do, when they want to have a conversation with our building inspection department that is downtown. Parking is very expensive downtown. They don't want to have to take a bus downtown. They can go to one of those satellite libraries. They can sit down in a space. They can do a virtual call and have that whole conversation with the building inspection, with our community development, with all of the other different agencies in the city that support residents. They'll be able to do that via the satellite city hall. Satellite meeting rooms, so that instead of everybody always having to come downtown if they want to be in person for a meeting, instead we're going to have different spaces that they can be and they can attend and setting and doing, being part of the conversation and participating. And then the security camera management lifecycle program. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. So, little typo there, sorry. We have transformed residents watching in TV land to resident engagement, participation, and transparency. And what does that mean? So when I was an intern, there was a county supervisor. I don't know if you remember this voice, but it used to make me giggle. And he was at county board meetings, and he would be speaking, and he would turn and look at the camera operator and say, "Those people in TV land, how do they feel about us?" And Charlie Mueller, and it would make me giggle every time, to resident engagement, participation, and transparency, which is what Katie's talking about. The fact that we have just completely transformed how we participate and how we engage and how we have residents being better informed and better part of the conversation. So guess what, guys? You all rock. I really appreciate all the work you do, and I super appreciate the media team. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for being here, boys. If there was ever a good time for other duties as assigned, front row at the conference is the time. All right. At this time, I'd like to thank our lunch sponsors today. Some of our vendors were kind enough to sponsor our lunch, so first I'd like to welcome our friends from Castus. Anybody from Castus want to say anything? Going once? So moved. All right, we'll put him on the end. Teleview. Jesse's here, isn't he? You want to come on out, Jesse?
Anyway, I just want to say thanks. It's really great to be at an in-person conference again and get a chance to see everyone. We're thrilled to be sponsoring. It's great for me to be here in Madison and in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a place I visited every year growing up as a kid, visiting my grandparents, spending time in Milwaukee, and then in the country in Oshkosh. So wonderful to be back. It's a nice small conference. Hope everyone gets a chance to visit all the exhibitors. And please come by the Teleview booth. We have a lot of new things we're showing, everything from integrated closed captioning. We're on our version 2 caption engine, which has really amazing accuracy. We're showing the ability to caption in multiple languages live, so you can do simultaneous English and Spanish captioning, for example. We have new social media automation rules. So if you want to automatically send content to YouTube Live and Facebook Live, you can do that based on business rules. We have new Hypercaster AIO models, very affordable, very flexible, including integrated streaming, so lots of new stuff to show. Hope to, get a chance to talk to all of you at some point today, and thanks again. Thanks, everyone.
Comrex, there you go. Way to be on deck.
I know the drill. That's right. Thank you, sir. Hi, everybody, and great to see you all in person, and hello to everybody who didn't make it. It's too bad that you can't be here, but I'm glad you're here virtually. Virtual fatigue is real. So hopefully you'll get over that and you'll join us in person someday. Anyway, Comrex is really happy to be a sponsor. Great to see you all. We're big fans of WCM and the Alliance for Community Media. Live and local is really important to us, as we know it's important to you. So we hope that you'll come by our little table, take a look at our stuff. And I only had a chance to rudely offend a few Packer fans last night. Jay can tell you. So if you're a Packer fan, please come by the table and I will rudely offend you as well, because I'm a Lions fan and I hate Packer fans. Enjoy your lunch. Go Lions.
Thanks for keeping the hate PG on the mic. Cablecast. Randy, come on up.
Hey everyone, so good to be back in Wisconsin again. I love this group of people. The dude is back. Those of you who were here with us in September over in Milwaukee, we had a blast on Halloween night, and boys got a band together and brought some blues harps up, and we really had a lot of fun. It just shows how real this group is, and I love that about community media wherever I go. It just seems like real people who are really part of a community trying to solve problems, and it's just awesome to be part of this movement. I want to introduce a new member to the Cablecast team, Dana Healy, who's our new Vice President of Sales. Cablecast is growing rapidly. We have a lot going on with our platforms, just as Teleview does. It's good to have this competition, I think. One of the things, I was in Vermont last week, and they have a similar group. It was a little smaller than this, but it was an interesting group of people that I get to see every year at this kind of a conference. And we talked a little bit about the value of having vendors like us here to support this kind of a gathering, because I think if you talk to Mary, that's part of what allows this to happen. And it also works for the vendors in terms of being able to engage people like you and help you solve problems. One of the cool things about Cablecast, and Dana's part of this, we've been part of this movement for many years. The entire team comes from within this community. And it means a lot to us when we, engage you and ask for feedback on what kinds of things you need, what kind of tools do you need. How can we as vendors, as people who are working in the marketplace with these tools, craft the tools that are really going to help us survive and move forward with this movement that was really started in the cable platforms so many years ago, and now here we are talking about streaming video and VOD and all these other things. And I think it's really awesome that there are companies like ours that are really competing to keep bringing this to the table. So that's important. Dana was part of the team. She was working in Massachusetts, in Danvers, as an executive director at an access station there. Moved over to Minneapolis and was working with a station there, and then again has joined our team just this past year. You want to say just hi?
Sure, yeah.
A lot of people know Dana from her experience.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Randy. It's great to meet you all and see you all in person. I've been in community media for 18 years, so I'm the new kid at Cablecast, but I have a strong understanding of what you are all experiencing right now, especially with coming out of the pandemic and doing more with less, and the type of work that we saw that our media teams are doing. So, and Cablecast is made up with community media veterans and advocates, and we are here to help you to be able to deliver that important information to your community. So please stop by the booth. I'd love to see you, and thanks. Take care.
Now I gotta just follow up a minute on Chris Crumb's mention of the Packers, because last night I joined some people. This is personal, by the way. It has nothing to do with my association with Cablecast whatsoever. This is totally personal in the sense that I live in the woods of Maine. I have lived there for many, many years. And I'm a big sports fan of the New England teams, including the Celtics. I used to work at the Garden as a video engineer. So I know the people there, and I followed this team. And when I saw they were going to be playing the Bucks last night, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And I was watching that game last night across the street, and I'm just like, I don't know why people don't seem to be getting all that excited about this game. I was really focused on it. And then as we got into that fourth quarter, suddenly the score starts to go, get closer and closer and closer. I mean, if you folks like professional basketball, the last 5 minutes of that game last night is as good as you're going to see anywhere. And I congratulate the Bucks and the Bucks fans for beating the Celtics last night in their home garden. That was a really big win for you guys. So congratulations, and we'll see you in Milwaukee in a couple nights. So see what happens.
I'll say it, Bucks and 6. Yeah. All right. And our friends from Yellow Tech USA are not here, but they also graciously sponsored our lunch, so thank you to them as well. Yes, thank you. Anybody from Castus? Second try here. All right. So let's just thank them by clapping as well, and then you can enjoy your lunch. Thank you all so much for being here.